Today we're going to be looking at my 2007 Lexus IS350 and kind of go over some of the quirks, features, and interesting things that I found along the way in my ownership. Hey everyone, I'm Martin. Welcome to another episode of Marty Motoring. So the first one I'm going to start with has to do with the key and unlocking. So this is a key fob, it's battery powered. There actually is a key in here. If you take this little piece out, you know, it has your lock, unlock, trunk, and alarm. So if you hold the unlock button down, all four windows and the moonroof will open. From what I know and have read, only the dealerships can set that up. It's like a Lexus settings or something for your car. You can request to have that set up. And it's just like kind of a cool thing to have on a hot day. You roll the windows down. And since this is keyless entry, you just, you know, I have it in my pocket. I'm gonna put it in my pocket here, walk up. And all I did is put my hand in the sensors here and the car unlocks. As long as I have the fob in my pocket, I push that and the whole car locks. And when I walk up, unlocks. So that's a really just nice, convenient feature to get in and out of the car. Great technology from Lexus and Toyota in 2007. Since you don't really get much of a cup holder there, you get one. Lexus decided to give you this little option where your door card has a pop-out panel that you can put like a water bottle or something like that and some, you know, papers, mail. Stepping inside the car, you have these perforated leather seats. They are actually heated and cooled. So you just go this way for heat and this way for cool. I don't really know of any other 2007 cars that have cooled seats. Now it just does blow the AC kind of through the holes of the leather, but it does work pretty well. So once we sit down in the car, we have our key fob in our pocket. All you have to do is put your foot on the brake and start stop. That is keyless. There's no key, obviously, and you would just push it again to turn it off. One of my favorite features of this car is the telescopic, I guess you call it, steering wheel when you start. So it has a certain setting, and whatever you have it set to, it memorizes. So when you start the car, it goes back to the last position you had it. Also, you have 3 seat position memory on some of the luxury package models. I think you have to get the luxury package for that. Another thing I really like is the logo on startup. It's always just a nice little touch. Now this is something really strange. When I got this car, I didn't really know why it had this. You have a rear shade. The rear shade's activated by a button next to the steering wheel. You got the shade button and also the headlight pop-up cleaner things that I actually deleted on this car because they broke and I didn't really feel like replacing them, and I don't think that's really that necessary. So now it's just a blank button that does nothing. While we're on the inside of the car, I wanted to point out the 6-speed transmission where you can actually shift like this or this to, you know, go up or down a gear. It actually is pretty responsive compared to some of the other cars I've driven. I do like that. And you also have the option of paddles. So the same 6 gears that this controls, this also controls. Quick word on the infotainment system. You know, it is outdated. It has AM, FM, disc, aux, which is actually under here, and I have a little Bluetooth adapter going in there. So, and that works pretty well. So those are really your only input options. You do have an outdated nav with a touchscreen, and it works well for what it is. You know, if I want to change any kind of sound parameters or climate, all your climates in here. You do have dual climate control, which is pretty cool. That's a nice feature to have. If your passenger wants to be hot, you want to be cold. That's happened a couple times. You have your little maintenance screen and pretty much the standard stuff that this comes with. And the sound system does sound really good. It is a 14-speaker Mark Levinson system, and it bumps. This was very nice for 2007 and still by modern standards. I mean, you have all the modern amenities like cooled, heated seats, you got CDs, aux, Bluetooth. If you add a little adapter, I will link this Bluetooth adapter down in the description below. It's the best one I've used so far. I've used a bunch. They've all kind of broken or just stopped working after a while. This one works great. You have your next and your back buttons, your answer call button or pause, and the microphone's right there so everybody can hear you when you're talking if you need to talk and drive. I actually have this section wrapped that used to be wood grain, so that's why it might look a little different. If you follow my channel, you'll see that I've done various mods to the car, and we'll move to the outside and talk about those a little bit more. So the IS350 stock comes with 18-inch staggered wheels. I fitted this car with 18-inch Option Lab wheels, 8.5 in the front, 9.5 in the rear. They're both 30 offset. It just fits perfectly. It's a nice sporty look for my daily driver. One great feature about these cars is how big the brakes are. They're made by Advix, I think is how you pronounce it. I, of course, painted it and put the Lexus logo, but they are made for Lexus by Advix, or however you say it. I'm probably saying it wrong, but they are pretty big brakes. And I also upgraded my rotors, and I went to ceramic pads. That definitely helps stopping. This car was equipped with HID headlights. I, of course, upgraded to VIP Moto's headlights, where you get your standard turn signal bulb, you know, halogen, your high beam and running light, which is also halogen, and I just upgraded to LEDs, and I matched the same white as what's in these strips that came on the headlight. I think it's under the mirror here. There's a little LED. So when you walk up to the car at night, that LED comes on and kind of shines here, so you can just kind of see the side of the car and realize it's your car because you have the key fob in your pocket, and the light inside the car comes on as well. The next feature is something that's available for this car, but I only recently installed it. I used to have a DNA Motoring axle back, but I actually got an F Sport version 1 axle back from my friend Kyle. His blue IS350 is featured in some of my other videos I've done. He gave me this off of his car. It does sound a little bit raspier. It doesn't drone as much, and I really like it so far. And it's just nice because it's an OEM part, so you can get aftermarket OEM parts for this that are made for this car. All the S-Sport accessories bolt right up to it. We have the power ECT Snow. The ECT stands for electronically controlled throttle, I believe. Power is your power mode, so it kind of locks in your gears longer, gives you a little more instant throttle response. And then Snow, of course, does the opposite of that, so that you don't spin out on snow. You know, if you floor it, it's not really going to go anywhere. I have used that mode once before, and it came in handy. And then, of course, you have your traction control button. If you push that, it goes off for a second, and then as you get above a certain RPM or speed, it comes back on, traction control. If you hold it down for 10 seconds, it will disable traction control and VSC. Or the power seats. You have dual power seats. They're both heated and cooled, as I said before. You can do a variety of different positions. Because this is fully loaded, it comes with that feature, so it's super nice. About the backup camera, we can see kind of what the view looks like back there. It's pretty wide angle. You don't get the lines because in 2007, I don't think anybody was doing the lines, but it is very nice to have, just to be able to see what's behind you in an older vehicle like this. Under the center console, if you lift it up, you have a 12-volt power, which I have my Bluetooth adapter in, and your aux jack. So you can plug your aux in and just kind of have that cable hanging out. What I do is this. I have this Bluetooth adapter I got on Amazon. Now, the reason that I run this Bluetooth adapter is because the protocol for Bluetooth in 2007 did not include music streaming. It only could do voice phone calls, which is what these speakers here handle. Like the voice of whoever you're talking to will come out of there. When you use this adapter, it comes through your regular speakers, handled by this volume, and it's just a lot simpler. Something else this car has is rear vents for your rear passengers. I think that's kind of cool. For the moonroof, if you turn it this way, it just kind of props up. If you turn it like this, the more you turn the dial, the more the sunroof opens. Forgot about and never really used on this car are the voice commands.
After the beep, please say a command.
Map.
Current position.
Okay, so it shows the map when you say map.
After the beep, please say a command.
Radio.
Radio mode.
2007 technology, it's not the best, but it does work. It's not really something I'd use because I can just hit the buttons rather than waiting for it. I guess it could come in handy if you're driving down the highway. You really don't want to take your vision that way. You don't want to take it off the road. You can just kind of like glance down, hit this, or feel it with your thumb and talk, and it'll do whatever you want it to do. Your gear position, so when you are in position here, so I can, with the Lexus IS350, I can choose up to 6. As I drive, it'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, but it'll show me the gear there. So I'm still in first gear, even though I selected to go up to 6th gear. That's kind of how this transmission works. So if I do 2 and I go to stomp on it, it's gonna go 1, 2, and it's gonna stop at 2 and stay at 2 until I do this, and then it would go to 3. That's just kind of how it works. It doesn't stay in the exact gear that you're selecting. It kind of goes up to that gear. But say I'm in 3 and I hit this, it'll downshift to 2. So it works a little differently than some other of these manual automatic transmissions, but I think it works pretty well for what it is. And lastly, we'll cover the lights on the speedometer. So when you're at your selected speed that you have in the settings, which mine happens to be 80 right now, speedometer gauge will light up, just letting you know, hey, you're at 80. Same thing with the RPM, whatever you have selected. I think mine's set to 6,000 right now. It'll light up and say, hey, you're at this, you know, you might need to shift, but if you're in drive, it'll just shift itself. But for manual mode, that's pretty helpful. But this car pretty much does everything I need it to do. It's a great quick daily, it's reliable. You know, there's some mods for it, and it performs great. And you know, I do have cooled and heated seats, and that's what cars are coming with now standard. Some base models don't even come with that still. So this was a fully loaded car back in 2007, and it's still keeping up with by modern standards. Those are just some of the features I pointed out. I'm sure there's many more, so drop them in the comments below. Maybe there's something I don't even know about my own car, so drop that in the comments. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button if you're not already subscribed to the channel. Thank you for all your support. And once again, thanks for watching Marty Motoring, where we're not afraid to leave a little rubber on the road.